250 years of Greek rule in Afghanistan. Erased in a single generation. The Bactrian Empire held the richest trade routes on earth, commanded armies that terrified Rome, and built cities that rivaled Athens. Then the horsemen came from the north. And an entire civilization disappeared so completely that for 2,000 years, historians doubted it ever existed. 323 BCE. Alexander the Great stands at the edge of the known world. Behind him lies conquered Persia. Before him stretches Bactria, a land of impossible mountains and endless steppes. He will spend 2 brutal years conquering this region, losing more men to these warriors than anywhere else in his campaigns. But here is what nobody tells you. When Alexander died, his generals did not abandon this distant frontier. They built something extraordinary here. Pause, a Greek kingdom that would outlast every other fragment of Alexander's empire. For 300 years, men with names like Eucratides and Menander ruled from marble palaces, their coins bearing Greek inscriptions, their armies marching in Macedonian phalanx formation. But one question haunted them from the very beginning: how long before the steppes reclaim what the steppes always reclaim? To understand how Greeks built an empire in the heart of Asia, you need to understand what Bactria actually was. Imagine a land where the Hindu Kush mountains meet the Central Asian steppes. Where the Silk Road's most profitable routes converge into a single choke point. Pause, control Bactria, and you control trade between China, India, Persia, and the Mediterranean. The wealth was staggering. Bactrian silver mines produced more precious metal than anywhere in the ancient world. Greek merchants here grew richer than senators in Rome. But wealth attracts attention. If you are following this story, drop a like because what happens next explains everything. The Seleucid Empire, Alexander's successors who controlled Persia, watched Bactria grow wealthy and independent. Around 250 BCE, they tried to crush this upstart province. They failed catastrophically. And from that failure, a true kingdom was born. But here is where it gets strange. These Greek kings did not simply transplant Athens to the mountains. They created something entirely new. Consider King Menander I, who ruled around 150 BCE. Greek sources call him a mighty conqueror. But Buddhist texts, they remember him as Melinda, a philosopher king who debated Buddhist monks and may have converted. Pause, think about that for a moment. A Greek king, trained in Aristotelian logic, sitting in lotus position discussing the nature of suffering with Buddhist sages. This was not cultural conquest. This was cultural fusion on a scale the ancient world had never seen. Greek sculptors carved Buddha images in flowing Hellenistic robes. Buddhist monks wrote philosophical treatises in Greek. And in the royal courts, Greek democracy merged with Eastern sacred kingship into something unprecedented. Now let me show you the crown jewel of this lost civilization. In 1964, French archaeologists made a discovery that changed everything we thought we knew about the ancient world. Hidden in northern Afghanistan, they found Ai-Khanoum, a complete Greek city. Pause, not Greek-influenced. Not Greek-inspired. A full Hellenistic metropolis with a gymnasium, a theater, a massive temple to Zeus. The inscriptions were in perfect Attic Greek. The architecture could have stood in Athens itself. But here is what haunts historians. Ai-Khanoum shows signs of sudden, violent abandonment. Around 145 BCE, the population simply vanished. Cooking fires left burning. Treasures left behind. Something terrified these people so completely that they fled without looking back. And that something was already watching from the northern steppes. But that is not even the darkest part of this story. Pause, for 2 centuries, the Greeks of Bactria had held back every threat. Persian pretenders. Indian warlords. Nomadic raids. They survived. Them all. But around 170 BCE, something changed on the steppes. Far to the east, the Xiongnu Confederation, ancestors of the Huns, began pushing westward. They displaced another people, the Yuezhi. And the Yuezhi had nowhere to go except south. If you want to see how this ends, make sure you are subscribed. Here came an estimated 200,000 mounted warriors, entire nations on horseback, fleeing one apocalypse and about to create another. The Greeks watched them approach. Their phalanxes had never faced anything like this. Cavalry that could shoot accurately at full gallop. Warriors who lived in the saddle. And they just kept coming. The fall came in waves. First the northern cities. Then the heartland. Pause, around 130 BCE, the last significant Greco-Bactrian king, Heliopolis I, abandoned his mountain fortress and fled south into India. Behind him, 3 centuries of Hellenistic civilization crumbled. The Yuezhi did not just conquer. They erased. Greek temples became horse corrals. Gymnasiums were dismantled for building materials. The great library of Ai-Khanoum, if it existed, vanished forever. Drop your guess in the comments. How long do you think any civilization can truly last? But here is the twist that historians missed for centuries. The Greeks did not simply disappear. Some fled south, creating Indo-Greek kingdoms that survived another 100 years. Others assimilated, their blood mixing with the conquerors. Their ideas, their art, their philosophy, seeped into the cultures that replaced them. And this is why the Greco-Bactrian Empire matters. Pause, those Greek sculptors who carved Buddhas in flowing robes. They created Gandharan art, which shaped Buddhist imagery across all of Asia. Those philosophical debates between Greek logic and Buddhist wisdom. They influenced religious thought for millennia. The Greco-Bactrian legacy did not die. It transformed. When you see a serene Buddha statue with wavy hair and draped clothing, you are looking at Greek influence that survived the destruction of the civilization that created it. The Yuezhi themselves eventually became the Kushan Empire, one of history's great powers. They adopted the Greco-Buddhist culture they had conquered. The conquerors became the inheritors. And the forgotten Greek kings of Afghanistan. Their ideas outlived their marble palaces by 2,000 years. So what can we learn from the Greco-Bactrian Empire? Perhaps this: civilizations are fragile, but ideas are not. Pause, the Greeks built their fortress kingdom knowing the steps were endless, knowing that someday the horsemen would come in numbers too great to stop. They built anyway. They fused cultures anyway. They created beauty anyway. And when the end came, when Heliopolis fled his burning capital and the last Greek coins were minted in those mountain kingdoms, the story did not truly end. It changed form. The throne was lost. The legacy endured. Every empire falls. But what they create in their brief moment of existence, the art, the ideas, the fusions of cultures, those can echo